Good morning, ma'am. Afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Shikhar. So, hi everyone. I have with me Shikhar Gupta. He's our career launcher, classroom student, IPM 2020, and he has got 99.93, right,
Yes,
in
ma'am.
that. And now he's a student of Bachelor of Financial and Investment Analysis with Shaheed Sukhdev, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So congrats once again, huge congrats, and let's hear it from Shikhar only. Shikhar, a brief intro to my next gen students. Give me a brief intro, your school and how much marks you got in
So,
and all.
I'm from Delhi Public School Sector 45, and I secured 98% in my boards. And the subjects which I had were mathematics, which I secured 100%, and I had accountancy, economics, in which I secured 98, and I had business studies, which was basically a which in which we scored an aggregate of all the other subjects. So I
Mhm.
secured 99 in that, and I had English, in which I secured the least, which was 95.
Okay.
So those are my subjects, and my core interests were always in accountancy and business studies. So like these two were my favorite subjects, and I always excelled in them. And I maths was something I always feared in school, or
You feared
I
in
feared
school.
it. Yeah,
Let's talk of
I
that
always have a
because you're
I
really,
always have a
really
fear.
well in maths. In fact, your juniors have also told me about the same.
Yeah, I don't know. I always score well in maths, but the fact that when I start doing maths, I always have that like, yes, I can't solve this question. I can't solve this question. So I always have a fear in maths, and I guess it's that because of that fear, I keep on doing maths, and I secured the highest in maths. Basically,
Okay. Fear helps.
so,
Shikhar says fear helps.
yes, I love it, like because it
Okay.
pushes you to remove that fear from your mind.
Awesome. So let's start with the trajectory. Why management? When did this idea came in your mind that you wanted to pursue a career in management?
So basically, till class 12th, I was inclined more towards chartered accountant. Like I wanted to be a CA. Even now, I'm planning to do so. And then when I was reading more about all these fields, so I realized that CA pursued if along with if we can pursue along with management, it gives you a good scope in future as well. So and also we've always seen the managers working all the time, and it like always appeals to be a manager, right? So that was my aim, and the only thing that was that if I have to go into management, I'll only do it from Sukhdev College, or else I'll go to a decent Delhi University college and pursue my BCom honors, because I
Mhm.
always wanted the Delhi University tag. So my basic aim in after class 12th was just to completely focus on DUJT, and that's why my main reason for management was that it always appeals me, and that business studies as a subject always was interesting to me.
Okay. So
So
everything around you, you feel felt like, management is something which you should pursue. And
yeah,
specifically Shahid Sukhdev also. That was also very
yeah,
clear.
yeah.
Okay.
It's basically see, BMS or BBA, in my opinion, sometimes people say it does not
Mhm.
holds a lot of value as compared to BCom honors from other colleges, right?
Hmm.
So I was like, since I can also get into management after doing a BCom honors, like prepare for CAT and get into a decent IM college. So I was like, I'll study for DUJT. If I get into Sukhdev, it's good. If I don't get into Sukhdev, I'll try to get into the BCom honors course, and I'll prepare for CA, and post that I can for anything which I want to. So that was my whole decision making point. That Sukhdev mila, so I'll go to management. Nahi
Okay.
mila, then
So it's
BCom.
like a 5 year plan was there. Like it was just not like, just get into some college. It was like a proper 5 year or something like, you were very clear about the trajectory. If this or
Yeah,
if you
but
straight away get into directly, or maybe through BCom, you would go for CA, then MBA, right?
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
so basically that 5 year plan has to be there. Like a rough idea, there needs to be a rough idea so that you can decide as to where you have to be at what point in your life. Like right now I'm in 2020, now I've started a college. By 2023 where I want to be, and by
Hmm.
2025 where I have to be. So in that manner, I always had a plan in mind, but it's not a concrete plan. Ki. It's not a decisive plan.
Okay.
There can be changes. Like right now, the biggest change I had was that I had to switch from BCom honors in Hansraj to Shaheed Sukhdev uh, BFIA. So that was a very huge decision making point for me, because BCom honors is a very generalized course. It gives you law, taxation, and it also gives you like
Hmm.
it opens options like actuary, CS, CMA, CA, and
Hmm.
MBA as well. But in BFIA, the best option you have after is doing an MBA, or you go in for CFA.
Hmm.
So that was a very critical decision making point for me. But then I decided ki, like, you have a more competitive crowd at Sukhdev, so why not Sukhdev? Like, it will push you to your limits. So
Okay. Now comes a very important question, which all my class 12 students would be asking you. How did you balance between your class 12 board exam and entrance preparation? What was your schedule also?
so
You have to just
yeah,
elaborate on
so like till November, like October, November, I was just studying 3 or 4 hours a day, and a 1 hour of tuition. That was mathematics tuition. That's it. Like, not more than that, because before October, whatever you study, it's like it will be there in your brains, but it you won't retain it till the very last, like till February. But after that, I had my pre boards around October,
that. Mhm.
and after October, I started to increase my study time to 6, 7, 8 hours a day
This was for
and
school
9 hours.
or entrance exam? The hours
This was for school.
for school,
So
purely school.
for Yeah, so basically for entrance exam, what I had done was, like, prior to that, I had identified the common topics. Like
Hmm.
in mathematics, you have
Okay.
common topics. Like the whole of class 12
Hmm.
is your class 12 maths is also there in your Sukhdev in
PUJAT.
DUJAT.
PUJAT entrance.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, so basically, and now what is there in CBSE boards is you also have 20 marks MCQs,
Mhm.
and DUJAT paper is also MCQ based. So
Correct.
identify those common topics and
Mhm.
just excel in those. So
Okay.
after your board exams, you do not actually have to redo those chapters. And actually, those chapters are the ones which everyone faces maximum problem in: differentiation and integration, relation functions, where you have to identify which is like equivalence class or not,
Mhm.
and all that. So that was my strategy, that I identify the common topics which are there,
Mhm.
and basically do good in those during your class 12 and focus on class 12. Now the thing is, like in DUJAT, you have 35% of your board as well,
Board
and
exam.
65% of
Correct.
your entrance test. So if
Hmm.
you have scored good in boards, you have that, like, there's not
Definitely.
a very high pressure that you have to score above 300 in your JAT exam. So you can also go to your exam with a calm mind if you have a high board score. So my thing was that prioritize boards first,
Mhm.
do a bit of current affairs, and focus on those chapters in maths which are also there in JAT. And
Mhm.
once the board finishes, just focus on JAT. That was basically vocabulary I was focusing on for and general awareness after the boards.
Okay. Okay. So general awareness, you were doing it in the month of November, December, and all. Were you?
I have that habit of reading newspapers daily, so that was the maximum thing which I was doing. And I have certain apps in my phone, like Economic Times, and those apps which keeps on giving you some notifications, right? So just
Okay.
go through that notifications daily, and you're done with the general awareness.
A
But
regular.
yeah, after my
Mhm.
board exams, I did go through all the master strokes which were uploaded.
Okay. So in career
Only
launcher, like how did you approach? Like, topic test and mocks, how many mocks you have taken and all that?
So I gave, I think there were 8 DUJAT mocks, and since my focus was only
Mm-hmm.
DUJAT, I was not aspiring for IPM or other exams. I basically gave 4 DUJAT mocks by sitting 2 hours,
Okay.
and the other four I just submitted my test so I can go through the question answers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I just wanted that habit ki I can sit for 2 hours and I can concentrate on the screen, because like concentrating on the screen also requires a lot of practice.
Mm-hmm.
Your eye starts hurting.
Mm-hmm.
And so 4 mocks I gave completely, and 4 mocks I submitted the answers, submitted the test, and then solved the questions. So to
Mm-hmm.
save some time. And in Career Launcher, I first attended all the classes. I think first 2 months were all the classes. And then I started approaching the topic test and section test. And I used to do mocks twice in a week, like, sorry, one mock in 2 weeks and analyze it.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
was the thing.
How were
That
the
was
online
all.
classes? Because of the COVID, we had all the classes online. So how were it?
So online classes are good. In fact, I like the advantage of online classes is that it saves time in commuting.
Okay.
So basically, um, I generally don't prefer online classes though, because offline the interaction also
Yeah.
improves how you study, and also there's an environment around you that everyone's studying, so you need to study as well. But in
Mm-hmm.
online classes, you are at your home, and the concentration span is pretty less. Like, I'll be studying, and the next moment I'll be on YouTube and watching some videos.
Okay.
So, but yeah, the online classes were good enough, and especially I could understand all the concepts, and then you could just message doubts on the doubt group we had, and the and in fact these students were the ones who were solving doubts. So seeing others' doubt also told me that they were getting a lot. So I was happy with the online classes, and they were pretty amazing.
Okay, so online classes, how did you keep your motivation and all? Like, in after certain DUJAT mocks and all, if the score is not working and all, so there is always that phase, right, where it's like things are not happening
So
for your requirement.
motivation was basically like everyone used to say, hey, like just study thoda sa. And it's like you have 4 months of, if I don't study and I don't get a decent rank in JAT, then I would have that feeling ki last 4 months were a complete waste. I just studied and still didn't get a rank. So for me, my main motivation was that if you have to tell that you achieved something in the last 4 months, what would it be? So it was like, now I can say I have an all India rank in DU JAT, and that was the thing I achieved. So that was a motivation for me. Yeah, I just studied Habe kuch, like something good should happen to me in the next 4 months. And also, like the main motivating thing was that I can get into the best colleges in India because I
Mm.
have a good board score. I also thought of getting into SR, and I also knew that I can do well in chat. So that was the motivation I had. And also the online classes, like you also used to motivate us, and yeah, like once you told to solve like sudokus daily or listen to music. So from that day I had also started solving sudokus. So वो भी एक that also was an interest I developed during this COVID time again.
Okay,
So
interesting, Shikhar. I remember you asking lots of questions every time on the Telegram. So you are one, and I keep telling the people, those who ask maximum doubts, that's the curiosity is the most important thing. Like, you have to keep what not. Should I go for NM? I think you had also converted NM also. Remember BSc Finance.
yeah, I
Nursing
had
Manji also.
converted that's yeah.
So
But
which
like my
all
Narsi
exams you
Munji,
gave? Just tell the crowd what all exams you have taken this year in
I
2020.
had given 3 exams: IPM, I am Rohtak, and Narsi Munji and DUJAT.
Okay.
And I had also enrolled for IPM IIM Indore, but it clashed on the same day. Though I was not planning to give IIM Indore in any case.
It was very
So
clear because usually there is like a lot of people who are like Indore is like, so you were very clear Indore is not at all a possibility. It has to be Shaheed Sukhdev.
yeah, like I was not inclined to go for 5 years in a single college, and that too during my UG stage. I just wanted to stay in and around Delhi. So I didn't had that thing ki, nahin, I'll go to Indore and I'll study there for 5 years.
Mhm.
So abhi I'll study for UG in Delhi, Shaheed Sukhdev College, and then I'll think about what to do after 3 years.
When is your classes starting?
18th November.
18th November onwards. Okay,
Yeah.
so what are the advices which you would prefer to give our students who are in class 11th and 12th, 12th specifically? Like, what should be done? They're
So
all planning for all into a very good college. So what do you suggest?
like my advice right now is, since we all are at home and we all have a very less concentration span, so like just attend classes and then focus more on the books which are there and not on your online classes. Like save yours, do not have a very high screen time. It's because
Mhm.
it's hurting the eyes a lot. Like my specs, like my number of my eyes has increased drastically right now.
Okay.
And the second thing is, right now just focus on your boards, because you need to have a backup plan. JAT, it's like you
Mhm.
they are just taking 150 candidates
Mhm.
in general category. And what if like you get a rank 160? This
Mhm.
does not mean you didn't study hard. It just means the luck wasn't with you at
Mhm.
that time.
Mhm.
So you need to have a backup plan as well, and that backup plan is your boards. Like if you have a decent score in board, like a 95, 96 above, you can also get into a college in Delhi University. So,
Okay.
and a good college, not
Mhm.
any small random college. So right now, if you just focus on your boards and just identify the common topics which are there, and if you can somehow find some time to solve like one LR set a day or one LR set in 3 or 4 days, it will just give you that rhythm that after the boards end, I'll have to, like the
Correct.
switch will be very easy
Correct.
and you'll not be completely lost. So that's the basic advice I had thought of. Basic that like that that's what even the driving factor for me as well. Okay, first boards and then the other things.
Which is so nice coming from you because you've already done that 98 percentage in school boards also and 99.93 in DUJAD also. So it comes from you. So it makes a lot of difference because I keep telling the students, but it comes from you, a student who has done it. The students will remember like board exam is a priority. And other than that, do LR questions or at least GK thing, which was a very good thing which you said
Yeah.
that, continuously be updated. so that in the end it is not such like, pile up of work and all, right? A backup
Yeah,
should be
also
there.
so backup plan is also important. Like this year, the JAT pattern completely changed. So, for
Hmm.
example, there were people who were good at GK, LR, and English, but were
Yeah,
bad at maths.
got
And I know a few of my friends
yes,
who are so bad at maths who had studied a lot for those other 75 questions,
correct,
and
correct.
like all those, like their plan just failed completely
Yeah, yeah,
because
you
they were
explain
around
that in
45
detail.
questions.
How was it different and how it worked for you? Just explain
Yeah,
that in
so I was in the exam. So my strategy for giving the exam
detail.
was basically in the first, the exam is of around 2 hours, right? Yeah. So
Mhm,
in the first hour,
mhm,
I'll go through all the questions, and there are questions which are basically vocab based, GK
mhm.
based questions, and simple maths question which you can just see the question and solve the answers.
Okay,
So those were the ones which I would solve in the first 1 hour.
okay.
And then there are those questions which you basically need your pen and paper and do it and like solve it on pen and paper and get the answer.
Okay.
And RC passages and caselets that I
Mm.
would do in the next 1 hour. Like I was very weak in RC passages, so
Okay.
that was the thing I used to do in the last 20 minutes. If I can solve them, good. If I can't solve them, I'll leave them.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that was the thing. Now, when I went to the exam and I started off with my exam, I was just going through the question, and each and every question looked like, yeah, this question is lengthy, this question is lengthy, this question is lengthy. And I was around
Okay.
20th question, and I just solved for around 5 or 6 questions. And I was freaking out so bad in the exam, like, oh shit, like just 5 questions and
Mm.
out of these 20 questions. And then I decided, and then I started scrolling the question bar to see
Mm.
if there's any GK question. And I couldn't find any question. Like all
Yeah.
the questions I clicked were just maths, or yeah, just maths. Then I decided, yeah, like this paper pattern is different, and I need to like now this paper pattern is different. I need to solve the questions right now. So that strategy completely changed, and I was just able to go through the paper once in 2 hour time.
Oh,
So I was very slow in the first 20 minutes, 20-25 minutes, but then I gained speed later on. And yeah, but that strategy that I'll do the comprehension at the end because I'm very bad at it.
mm-hmm.
And just before comprehensions, I'll do the LR sets.
Okay.
That remain intact, just the timings change. Like I was doing the comprehension in the last 10 minutes of my exam.
Okay.
Yeah, so during the exam, then I also decided to use a bit of calculative guessing because the questions were such
Mm-hmm.
that I was not like getting the final answer was difficult. Like a few
Okay.
questions were there, but I was not getting the final answer in few of the questions. So I decided to use calculative guessing, and I started eliminating
Mhm.
options.
Okay.
And when you have those 2 options out of 4 left, you should, like, it's advised that you go on
Mhm.
answering that question. Yeah, so and after the exam ended, everyone was like, this pattern changed completely. And
GK was
the
less.
thing is, like 1 week before JAT, all my friends and I were just focusing on GK. Like we were on call and we were just revising
Yeah.
GK and all that. And in the exam, there were just 8 questions of GK. So like, oh, like your last 1 week efforts were nothing. And
Okay.
those GK questions are also the basic ones,
So
like Nobel
GK was
Prize
not the
winners and
deciding
all.
factor. But in maths,
Yeah,
you
so
do say that intelligent guessing did help to
yeah,
have the kind of speed.
yeah. So intelligent guessing, in my opinion, yeah. Like even I had asked a few of my seniors before giving the exam, so they
Mm-hmm.
told that like intelligent guessing do helps. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, some people might say that you might lose negative mark, like you might get negative marks, but the thing is, like out of 4 questions, even if you are able to do one correct and rest three are wrong, even then you have an advantage of 1 mark, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and every mark counts in a competitive exam. So then why not go on with
What was
calculative
your
guessings?
score in that paper?
I don't remember my score actually. I think around 290 something. I don't
220.
remember.
Right.
Yeah, like the answer,
Answer.
the
They had
result
released the question
sheet.
paper.
Yeah, the result sheet which came had their scores. It was around 290.
That was
Though I'm not
normalization and
sure.
all, right? Maybe final, the percentile which they gave, that was about the normalization in the different slots and all, maybe.
Yeah, the percentile came after the normalization only. It was like the percentiles which were released were after normalization. And in the result sheet which they had given, they had scores before normalization and then scores after
After
normalization and then
normalization.
percentile. So I don't remember my scores before and after normalization, but it was 290, I guess. No, I'm not
How many
100% sure.
students are there in BFIA? How many students have got
I think the general category intake is around 45
45? Okay, fine. And your ranking, final ranking was?
or 12.
Okay, so that was very easy for you to choose between BMS and BFIA. You already wanted.
Yeah,
finance,
so
right?
so I'm always interested in the stock side, and whenever I read about them, it always like encourages me. Like I am always get that instinct, ki, let's read more, and I can leave all work aside and just read about these. So I knew that, yeah, BFIA is for me. So it was, so also that if I won't get into BFIA, I would have taken BCom honors at Hansraj, but and not go with BMS and Sukhdev.
Okay, so that was very clear. The decision was very
Yeah,
clear with you. Okay,
yeah,
and Elon Musk is your, I remember, the role model,
yes,
right? So in future, when you
yeah.
do entrepreneur, all the very best for a brilliant future and all. Keep,
Thank you so much.
sharing all the good news and all, and keep inspiring our kids. Thanks a lot, Shikhar. That was really sweet of you to inspire the next gen and all. All the very
Thank
best.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.